Just another video on the policing of the event on Tuesday. When we arrived on the site and the police vans were there well ahead of our guys came to set up, it took a long time to persuade the police officers on the ground, and some of them were senior police officers, to allow the vehicles to stay in the area. We ended up only getting one vehicle staying in the area, which caused problems for all sorts of reasons. One, we had a security vehicle there, which should have stayed on site the whole time. Two, we also had another sound guy there. His vehicle should have been on site, so that obviously at the end of the day, when they got packed up, they'd get out the area as quickly as possible. But for some reason, the police weren't playing ball with that. And you've got to play the hand that you're dealt. Then later on in the day, when we'd managed to, and there was a lot of aggression there. There was a lot of aggression from the police from the get-go. And there was one officer, he glasses, red pips. I'm not sure what rank that is, but he seemed to be kind of just below the gold commander. So we've got a woman who's the gold commander that you'll see in the video that Liam shot. There's a woman who's the gold commander, and then you've got these guys with red baseball caps on that are kind of below them. The guy with the glasses was extremely aggressive and extremely obnoxious, and I just thought, well, I'm just not going to deal with this guy. So I spoke to the gold commander on the ground and explained that there was nobody coming here with any intention of any aggravation or any violence. And actually, when you look at the footage of what happened, it's very, very obvious that the people who were intent on violence and causing problems were the Metropolitan Police and not the people that came to the demonstration. In the footage that you'll see of the police horses charging at the protesters, that is completely unwarranted. The police basically blocked people who weren't on a march, they weren't on a demonstration. They were there to celebrate St. George's Day. They were moving from one part of London to another in small groups. They weren't even big groups, because believe you me, and this is something we should maybe bear in mind for the future. If people were moving in groups of 400 to 500, the police wouldn't have even tried to stop them going where they wanted to go. But the police did, just at the top of Whitehall. And these groups, there were some people coming down towards the demonstration, and there were some people who'd, I don't think the demonstration even started at this point, they were moving up away and away from the demonstration to go to pubs or whatever, up towards Trafalgar Square. Why did the police stop them doing that? Why did they stop people going about their lawful business on St. George's Day, a holy day for the people of England? Why did the police stop them going about their business and stop them moving about? That's the question we've got to ask. And the reality is, there is a reason, and the reason was explained to us at the beginning of the demonstration when we met with the police liaison and we met with the gold commander, and she told us, this is the area you've got. You can't move about outside of this area. So basically, the restrictions that the probably the head of the Met, I'm not sure, but certainly one below the head of the Met, the restrictions that they put on that celebration were draconian, because this wasn't a political demonstration. Yes, political speeches were made, but this was about celebrating England and celebrating St. George's Day, which is a Christian day, and more of the speeches had to do with Christianity than they did to do with politics. Yes, there was a political message in terms of what had happened to Tommy and the two-tier policing and all the other things that are going wrong in the country, and giving people a reason to be proud of the country again. But that wasn't the main thrust of why we were there. We were all there to celebrate St. George's Day. And the people that left the demonstration were certainly not there to listen to political speeches. They just wanted to get to a pub, have a drink, have a laugh with their mates, and enjoy celebrating being English together, which is what it was all about. A friend of mine who has been involved in the movement from the very, very beginning. He's an ex-soldier. He's an ex-prison officer. He's an ex-police officer. And he's a football lad. He has been there, done it, worn the t-shirt in all those different areas of his life. And he told me that at the very beginning, when the lads were at Waterloo, that basically there was undercover police officers in the pub, in the Brewdog pub that they were in. He told me that the pub directly across from Waterloo Station, I think it's the Wellington or the Duke of Wellington, was closed. That's just opposite the Union Jack Club. Sorry, the pub opposite the Union Jack Club where my friend was drinking with his pals. At 1 o'clock, the bar manager said, "We can't serve you any more beer. We've been told we have to tell you that we've run out of alcohol." That's what he told me. He said there was carriers along the road. They're the big police vehicles. There was carriers along the road in Waterloo. There was a very, very edgy atmosphere. The police were all tooled up with riot gear. That is not happening by accident. This isn't just two-tier policing. This is actually something worse. This is deliberately provocative policing. And what I want to commend, people often commend the police for doing this and that. I want to commend the lads and lasses that were at those demonstrations. Not one of them got violent. A horse got hit with an umbrella. Northern Ireland, when there was riots during the Troubles, we people trying to drop concrete blocks on our heads, throwing petrol bombs and blast bombs at us and shooting at us. Now that's what you call violence. Pushing through a line of police officers who are obstructing you going about your legal and legitimate business is hardly riotous assembly. And in fact, I wonder about the legality of what they were doing on that day and the conditions that they put on that demonstration. And I think all of these things need to be looked at. Now, why is this so serious? Well, it's so serious because sooner or later, either a police officer or a demonstrator or somebody that's in our crowd are going to get killed or seriously injured. When you look at the footage of what happened, when that horse hit that guy, there was a guy and he looked, well, older than me and I'm old, right? So he looked like he was in his 60s, probably his mid-60s. He was standing up against the wall. Don't even know if he was with our crowd. He was standing up against the wall and the white or grey horse was moving about a lot. And if you've been hit by a police horse, you will know it's no laughing matter. When the back end of a police horse hits you, you know about it. Now that guy could have very easily been hit and crushed up against that wall because he'd nowhere to go and he couldn't move. If he'd been hit and crushed up against that wall, he could well have been killed. That's the reality of the situation. And the same as with the police, when their officers are put in that position where they're told to hold a line that is illegitimate and people break that line because it's an illegitimate line, it shouldn't be there. Police officers have been very seriously injured doing that before at these demonstrations. Not because anyone's gone out to assault them, but because their commanders have put them in a very difficult and impossible situation. I think I'll put the link into the video, or maybe clip some of the discussions I had with the Gold Commander. At one point during the day, the Gold Commander came to me, and I think to Danny as well, and said, look, can you move some of these people out of the road because they're blocking the road and they won't listen to us? And of course, because we're organising the demonstration and everybody knows us and respects us, when we go and ask people to move for legitimate reasons, because it was really just to get them on the green area behind the staging so that they could actually hear the speeches, I went up to a whole lot of lads and says, lads, if you're here to hear the speeches, just go onto the green, because if it kicks off here, it's going to spoil the day and we don't want that. And the guys very, very graciously moved to the area behind the staging, and the police's job was done for them. We solved their problem. So later on, when I'm discussing with the Gold Commander what's happened down the road, because I haven't seen any of the footage at this point, I haven't seen the footage of the two horses charging into the lads, of the police getting extremely aggressive and violent with the lads that just want to go to the pub. Remember that. They didn't want to go to the celebration. They didn't want to hear the speeches. They're like, we're going to the pub, that's what we want to do. That's legitimate. There's nothing illegitimate in that. There's loads of pubs round Trafalgar Square that they could have gone to. Now, of course, the other issue with all this is that the police had closed pubs in Whitehall. They'd closed pubs in Waterloo. On St. George's Day, lads want to go have a drink. That's fair. So this was deliberate provocation. And we've seen the police do this on more than one occasion. They did it on Armistice Day. They've done it at other demonstrations that we've been at. And I'm not talking about the rank and file police. There are people in the Met, in leadership positions, that are deliberately putting the public in harm's way and putting their offices in harm's way by the decisions that they are making. And that is extremely dangerous. And that's without even touching on two-tier policing. What they're looking for is optics of making it look like, oh, look at these football lads going crazy. None of the football lads lost their discipline or did anything stupid. And the guy that hit the horse with the umbrella or whatever it was, that is clearly self-defense. If you have a massive horse coming charging at you and you can't get out the way, you want to try and stop that horse hitting you. So this was to me, looking at the footage, and I've looked at it from several different angles and seen there was a lot of women there. There was a lot of older men there. This wasn't, 20-something football lads out for a tear-up. These were mature men and mature women who were wanting to just go to the pub and have a good time. And again, when I asked the Gold Commander about the horses charging people at Trafalgar Square, she evaded it and says, oh, we just had the horses there so we could see over vehicles or something to that effect, which was nonsense. Those horses were used as weapons. So that's what we're looking at. That's the sort of problem that we've got. And again, what do we do with that? And what do we do about the situation where you're literally dealing with people that have been disingenuous and are not playing a straight hand? It's a big problem. That is two-tier policing.